Hey guys, my name is Wilbeck. I'm making a tutorial just to show how I work, kind of doing my characters and stuff, showing how my design processes usually go down. So normally I start with a black and white sketch. Very rough, like these are super rough. I don't suggest doing it like this. I just been personally kind of, I guess, lazy doing more comprehensive sketches. It's not a good thing. Normally my sketches will look more like this, a bit more refined, have some lighting detail in there. This will definitely give you a better general idea of what you want, and I probably should do this more, but it's better to kind of work like this in my opinion, just so you get a feel of everything, lighting, shape wise. This is a lot more ambiguous, and the reason why I work like this is because of I guess rapid iteration. It helps with rapid iteration than it doesn't, because you figure out a lot less. When you spend more time doing sketches like this, I think, will get a better final product at times, but it just depends on how you work. So anyway, I do like really kind of shitty rapid sketches, like fast black and white sketches, and then I kind of pose it out like this a little bit. I grab a photo, usually, because I try to work as fast as I can, practicing speed for clients and stuff. A lot of people don't, sometimes won't give you the luxury to take your time, so I have a whole reference collection on Pinterest for poses, tactical gear, a lot of references. So yeah, I'll usually just, lasso one of these guys out, whatever pose I find appropriate. Or usually I'll just maybe even go on Daz, if you guys have Daz. Yeah, right here. It's a 3D program where you can just model people out, or not model people out, or you can pose people out, and it's really good as well. Because I do actually like doing T-pose kind of stuff as well. It's good for design and just, I guess, the general style of how I work. So yeah. Yeah, so after I do like a kind of another quick little refinement for a sketch just to get shapes down, try to get a picture of how all the gear wraps around my character's body, I'll kind of, get into a final product that looks like this. The main reason why I work in line and graphic flat color so much is because, for me personally, if I was a 3D artist, I think this would be a lot easier to model. I do a lot of 3D art, and you can always make material guides to be here. For example, what I did is I just made a square, kind of with different materials, making call-outs for what it is. You can put like lines and stuff, just to do it. It's a lot faster than having to render out something, which you should still practice all the time. But just really quick, I'll go through my process. I won't really show how I draw, because I'm probably not the best person to teach illustration. I don't do a lot of illustration work unless a client wants me to. They want that photo bashed or that more realistic finish. Glad to do it, but I usually don't. So how I initially start is, I'll take this a little bit refined sketch that I did, kind of place it over on this final image, or where I want to make the final. Check things out a little bit. I go back and I check the anatomy. It's kind of good. One of my teachers taught me before was, to imagine someone naked, or to draw a naked body as well on top of your character, because you can really see how the gear wraps around. Imagine it like that, and it really helps, because you don't want, like, for example, let's see, yeah, like a soldier's gear isn't just going to be flat. Even if there's a plate in front of the vest, right, you still want it to show that it wraps around, kind of form-fitting the body and everything. So, place kind of a naked, really quick silhouette on top, line drawing. Just check the anatomy a little bit. And this, oh yeah, this layer right here, after, it's a quick line drawing to see how I want things. So after I start the initial line drawing, what I'll do is I'll lower the opacity of the silhouette, this kind of quick sketch, just to check things out. How do I think of the shapes? What do I like? Then after, trying different poses. So this one I did a little bit of a refinement on like the legs and the arms. Check out maybe a little bit more dynamic pose, show a little bit more of the body. And then after, I kind of get to this initial line work of like a base suit, you know what I mean? Not as much armor on, just kind of, alright, how does it look? How do I want the base suit to be? Obviously, it's a kind of a pretty big departure of what I had like here before. I thought, oh, it'd be cool to have like a cleared glass screen for a gas mask or something, for like a spacesuit, because this is like my idea for this was like a spacesuit combat armor hybrid, just for a personal IP that I made. So a lot of it needs sealing and everything. So yeah, I kind of departed from that and just went for a more military style mask. Okay. Yeah, so while I'm making these sketches, I'm also thinking of a lot of function. That's kind of what I like to do for my designs, what works, what I believe would be realistic within a future setting, I guess, with a lot of the new technologies that we can have. So a good thing to do is always refer back to reference. Why do certain things work certain ways? Especially, I have like this whole Pinterest board of soldier gear, like looking at how gear wraps around, why people have gear certain places, or things like that, or like just think about what your character needs to do if you want to make it feel something like a video game. What is their ability and stuff? All these kind of things you should really be thinking of. I have another thing for fashion-ish, a lot of apocalyptic stuff, but still, form-fitting clothing, or just, I don't know, any cool kind of clothing I gather for a reference board here that I think is really cool. Yeah, and then after that, you know what I mean, like, especially for mechanical stuff, you want all the joints and everything to move properly. So I also have like a robotics reference board, and it's really useful because you want to see how all the joints and all the arms will move together. So I have things like this to kind of teach me how servos and actuators kind of move and everything, where maybe power connections can go to, like locking, like these braces right here, how you lock each pivot point to each other. Especially if you're designing mechs or exoskeleton suit or something like that, it's very useful to do that. Yeah, and if you guys are able to get any access to any of this technical gear, I guess if you have any military friends, any friends who play airsoft or go shooting, have any of this stuff, I think it's a really good idea to get maybe hands-on experience with it, because you'll start seeing a lot of flaws with modern armor. You'll see issues with maybe mobility, comfortability. The biggest issue I have, in my opinion, is if you see this vest, right? Maybe it's because I haven't had a fully geared vest before, but a vest on a body, let me see if I can find a solder real quick. Yeah, like a chest rig or a vest on a body will tend to kind of slide up and down, especially if you bend over. That's why if you look at a lot of knights, yeah, so that's why if you see a lot of like cuirasses or like a lot of knight armors, they usually, I think, when I did research, they said it's supposed to end at the waist, and the reason for that is because they usually have a neck guard, and when a soldier bends down, it's gonna actually hit him in the neck and actually could be not fatal, but do a lot of damage to them. So kind of a lot of issues with, like, slippage, in my opinion, with modern body armor. So you could find a lot of different ways to, I guess, solve that. Putting like straps on the vest, like vertical straps that are maybe like have a bungee effect on a belt, so it keeps tension, really keeps it down. And that's why if you see a lot of Metal Gear Solid artwork, in my opinion, which is like super awesome, they have a lot of like that bungee cord stuff. Yeah, so if you look at a lot of like Metal Gear Solid concept art, they have like this kind of bungee stuff going on, and you might think, oh, that's just for looks, but in my opinion, actually, it's very good for body armor as well, because you keep it kind of tight on your body. Maybe it's poorer for rapid deployment, stuff like that, for being fast and stuff, putting it on and off for like a rapid deployment unit. But when you're in combat, you probably won't take off your armor, so it's nice to have a lot of these kind of harness is keeping it down, because you know, like I said, I did find that issue with modern body armor, is that you know it will slip and stuff. Yeah, like this is really cool. There's a belt over here, so it keeps the plate carrier from going like vertically slipping and stuff, feeling weird and you know kind of messing with your neck. So yeah, that's another good thing to consider. Yeah, so you know after then I'll make a kind of a refined line drawing, something like this, just to really get like the base suit down. I don't always work like this, but you know for this tutorial I just decided, yeah, maybe I should try something like that. And then after that, you know, I'll turn this off, the initial sketch, kind of make a refined drawing with all the gear and everything, like armor plates and stuff, because my idea for this character was essentially like kind of heavier assault dude. You know, ability might be like he's ultra or ultimate or something, could be like a, you know, sentry gun up here unlocking and you know shooting missiles or like little rockets, you know, so I have to design that out. But yeah, it's really important in my opinion to incorporate some kind of gameplay element, or really think about the abilities and helping you know to design your character around that. So you know, alright, after this initial sketch, I'll move to my color pass. So how I work with this color pass is, I ignored the face mask change for this for now. I was just exploring different skin options for my character. So yeah, I'll kind of start with a bit thicker lines kind of going through, doing a little bit more refinement to the gear. But then after that, what I'll do is I'll essentially select this if I need to. If I think the lines are too thin, then I'm going to modify, contract 1 pixel, and then Control Shift I, and then just cut it out. Cut out the selection, so you get a lot thinner lines. You can kind of work with shading more if you want to do shading. But yeah, that helps with the line work. So you know, I have this for my character, and then I make a revision for where I think parts need to be thicker, drawing attention back to what I believe is more important is this region right here, you know what I mean? That's why I have like thicker line work up here, just because I think it's more important, it's more visually interesting. So what I'll do after I have this is I make a mask. So I make a mask, you know, masking out all different parts of my character, and then I kind of go from ascending order down. So you know, I'll illustrate, or I'll start coloring the head, and then working my way down toward the rest of the body. Let me find there it is. So I'll start with the head, you know what I mean? Just getting basic colors down. I try to stick to 3 colors. That's what I think is most optimal, and then you can, you know, really switch up like the little variations after that. But I think 3 is optimal, just to, you know, get some colors down, see what works, you know. And then I'll so I start with the head, and then I go down to the neck, masking each body part that I find necessary out. Neck, and then the vest. You know what I mean? Just this whole area of the vest. You know, his upper torso area. You know, arms. Then getting all the colors, still sticking to, you know, the normal variation that I had, the 3 colors. I mean, I guess it's about 4. And then all the way down to the lower body. So yeah, at this point you're just masking out different colors, different sections, seeing what works, seeing if you like the colors, and after, if you want, you know, you can just mask this layer, change the hue, see what works for you, see what doesn't. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I decided mostly to switch with this color, or stay with this color pattern, because I thought it was really cool to make maybe like some kind of mercenary dude who is like an elite fighter or something, and they call him Trajan. He was one of the emperors of the Roman Empire. I thought it was really cool using some Roman colors and stuff, accents, still, you know, using white as well, to give it kind of that spacey feel. Yeah. So, you know, after all this, I kind of put on a goggle texture just to get like a visor kind of thing going on. And then oh yeah, so this part now I did material indication of what I thought was important, like shiny metals. I usually indicate like this, so I'll go into the gold areas, so what I want to be like a, you know, different material over the rest of these things. You know, go in, get a little bit of the shadows down first, so I'll use multiply layer, just grab the color and then kind of mask, you know, go back to the head, select, mask whatever needs to be painted. do that, and then get the highlights in. You know, so shiny metals and stuff like that. Same thing with the neck. Just this part, little band, I thought would be cool. Maybe he's hiding electronics in there, important stuff, whatnot. That'd be cool. Chest, same thing. I mean, all the way down here, stuff like over here and stuff. The little airtight lock is also doubles as like his exoskeleton harness to the wrist. And on the bottom, I mean, I just kind of like making the bottom half of his body a little bit lower in contrast, kind of bring the attention back up here to what I believe, like I said, is important. And then I designed my weapons usually separate from the color pass, but yeah, that's why you'll see his Gladius, or his light machine gun here, kind of a heavy soldier, so I give him a machine gun, like a squad automatic weapon. But yeah, after this color pass, I'll kind of go into color correction. So I make whatever I believe needs to be brighter, or like, you know, darker and stuff like that. So yeah, a really simple process. In this final pass, I put harder shadows by where the head is, kind of bringing back, you know, attention here, making the focus here. After kind of showing how I, you know, illustrate, or I guess actually draw out my characters, I kind of want to explain why I kind of chose these design elements, or, you know, like pretty much why I chose to do stuff. So for this kind of helmet, I thought, you know, in the future there'll be smaller air filters, so you could definitely size it down compared to like modern gas masks, where, you know, they have to be huge. But then when, you know, you have huge filters, when you have like that giant kind of piece of obstructing use of a weapon, that's why the Gladius was designed the way I did it. Having this cheek wheel right here a little bit larger, a little bit taller, so he has enough clearance for his face to really look down the sights of the gun. Because, you know, when you're wearing this kind of helmet, when you're wearing these masks, you won't be able to do that. So as much as I could, I tried slimming it down. The reason I chose this shape right here is kind of to replicate, I guess, the Roman Legion helmet as much as I could. I didn't put super like a bunch of Roman shapes, but I did take a lot of inspiration. The helmet up here is very modern. Like here you have Picatinny rails where you can put like flashlights, or maybe an IR strobe to show that you're friendly. This like a computer processing unit for the exoskeleton. This is what I thought it would be cool. Little arms up here on the helmet connected to the visors to, you know, pivot it up if it has to, like such, where, you know, they can go up and down for the visors. I thought that would be cool. Just, you know, it's just in case if maybe your visor's damaged, you need to replace it. You could do it robotically, nice and fast. Like little right here locking latches to this mask. So, you know, this helmet right here is a separate piece from this mask, and that'd be cool. There you can have like a push detach system, you know, in case of damage and stuff. Going down the neck, I just kind of designed you know, a suit, I guess. I'll be talking about with the undersuit right here, following his abdominal muscle, you know what I mean, like this red part, and it's really outlining the muscles over here, neck as well. But now to the actual body armor, I put on the undersuit, you know, put a neck guard, which is very important, because if you get shot, for example, right, for bullets, unless they have like a steel, unless the bullet is actually made of steel, the actual bullet itself, it probably just penetrate or deform. But if they're lead or something, or another material, they could splatter up, kind of splinter, go everywhere, right? So it's important to have a neck guard to deflect it down and stuff, deflect it out of the way. This back here, this part's right here, part of the exosuit. What I thought it could do is maybe over here is having like a mechanical attachment point, like some kind of mechanized screw that screws onto the breastplate or something, and, you know, keeping it nice and tight. Little communication unit maybe going down the breastplate. I actually took a lot of inspiration for the Lyrica Segmentata. How it, you know, is separated, so there's a lot more mobility. It seems, at least, it's more mobility, where, you know, you have room to kind of bend down and everything, so it's not just one solid piece where a giant piece of steel is going to bonk your neck or anything. like again with the bungee cords, kind of keeping these two sides together and everything. You know, kind of also making this padding type of armor as well. Maybe inside will also be a plate, and then, you know, crotch plate, a groin plate over here, two straps for the abdomen rig, just a little bit more protection. Extra locking for the breastplate, especially because this is like a hard piece of a hard armor suit, so, you know, I definitely use more different shapes, maybe more mechanical shapes instead of more like clothy and free-flowing. Into the arms, I kind of made like an internal ballistic plate, I guess. It's held together instead of, you know, fumbling around, so it's like it kind of works like a conventional vest, except, you know, you have it in your arms, or you have like these segmented protections. And then here, you know, doubles, this little locking brace doubles as like a suit sealant to keep it airtight, as well as, you know, keeping the gloves on, and also for the exoskeleton to attach to. I just decided to make it come to the back of the rear of the arm. I don't know, just tried different stuff out. I think it worked out pretty okay. Leg armor, I kind of, you know, took inspiration from mashing the muscles, I guess. This is just, you know, a nice form-fitting to the muscles. If it looks like it'd be comfortable. And up here, you know, attachment points, harnesses down to the groin area to really keep it tight. This I took inspiration from pilot suits. Whatever military pilots have, they always have a harness over here, and it looks like it keeps everything really nice and tight. You know, two points of attachment. Down to the knees, you know, again, more form-fitting stuff. I try to get the armor, you know, to really look like it fit the body well, to make sure it was comfortable, where you could be wearing a huge heavy set of armor but have maximum mobility. The shoes I got from just all-terrain trekking shoes, I kind of took inspiration from. You know, just because you don't know what terrain you're going to be in. It'll work indoors, outdoors. It'll be a little bit heavy, but at least if you're outside, you'll get a good grip if you have to climb a mountain or something, or be rocky terrain. Yeah, that's just kind of my thoughts of how, you know, things went, especially because, like I said, Tarjan, the character I made right now, is going to be like a heavy assault guy. You know, really has to keep his foot planted, really, you know, be strong on the upper torso. That's where the exoskeleton's there. You know, he's trying to shoot on the move, have a machine gun and everything. These big fat pouches for his drum mags and stuff. You know, like this comm unit. Yeah, just, you know, all these things that go to my mind. You know, keeping a lot of things in mind, like gameplay, silhouette, how big he is, how bulky. He has to be pretty yoked, pretty strong to do what he needs to do, his function-wise. Even to the gloves, you know what I mean? Something kind of thick and strong. You got to think of all of this, in my opinion. Really think it out. Really flesh out the function, flesh out the purpose of your character, and then I think you'll be very successful. Yeah, that's about it, guys. This is how I work generally. This is kind of why I work like this, my process and everything. I will be doing a weapon tutorial showing how I do weapons and stuff. So thank you guys for watching.